General is suing the state of California essentially over chickens and eggs. In 2010, California passed a law barring eggs from being sold there that come from hens in cages that don't comply with new size standards. It goes into effect next year, meaning farmers in other states will have to make their coops larger if they want to sell their eggs in California.
California has every right in the world to decide what type of housing they have for their chickens. But to close off the California market to Missouri-based producers unless we expand our chicken houses is a breach of the U.S. Commerce Clause.
Joining me now, Democratic Congressman Huffman of California. He actually wrote the legislation while he was in California State Legislature. Congressman, good to see you. First of all, let me just get your response to the suit.
Well, Craig, I don't think it's a very serious lawsuit. The truth is states have every right to set their own health and safety and animal welfare standards. That's been upheld by the courts, and all California has said is that they want all eggs sold in California to comply with these minimal standards that the voters established back in 2008.
Attorney General Koster also said that he is worried about the kind of precedent that your law would set. Take a listen.
If California is able to get away with deciding how big Missouri chicken coops should be, then they can tell us that we have to pick our soybeans by hand or move our corn to market in solar-powered trucks.
And here's the thing, Congressman, and you will at least acknowledge this. We're talking about California. We're not talking about, Arkansas. We're not talking about a smaller state. Right. We're talking about one of the largest states in this country. Missouri farmers, I understand it, sell about a third of their eggs to California. Koster says it's going to cost about $120 million for his farmers to comply with that law. How fair is that?
Well, it's very fair, because what California has done is said that anybody that wants to sell eggs in our state has to meet these minimal hen housing standards. These are standards passed for human health and safety and also for animal welfare. And a state's right to do that has been upheld time and time again. Recently, under some litigation challenging California's foie gras ban, that too was upheld. So we're not requiring anything different of Missouri egg producers or Iowa egg producers that isn't required of California's own egg producers. If they want to sell into our state, they need to meet our standards. That's fair.
Does it put California farmers at all at a disadvantage with egg farmers in other states by having to shell out more money to expand their cages?
No, it's actually the opposite. What would put them at a disadvantage is if Missouri were to somehow prevail, I don't think they will, in this lawsuit, which would create a double standard. It would say that, fine, California can require these standards of its own egg producers, but unscrupulous producers out of state who don't want to set high standards for health and safety and animal welfare can swoop in and steal the market. That's not right. And so I'm very confident this lawsuit will be defeated, and we should move on from here.
Congressman, really quickly, for folks who may not have been following the story very closely, what exactly was the impetus for this new law?
Well, in 2008, California voters overwhelmingly passed an initiative that said that these battery cages, where egg-laying hens are confined in incredibly concentrated conditions, they can never move around in their lifetimes and spread their wings, California voters said we want a higher standard for eggs in our state. Now, as written, it could have been interpreted to have a loophole that applied that standard only to eggs produced in California and not those that come in from out of state and are sold in California. So I introduced a law that passed bipartisan, signed by a Republican governor in 2010. That's what this is about. Missouri egg producers want to be able to skirt these standards that California consumers have set for eggs in our state.
Congressman, thank you so much. It's a fascinating debate. We're going to continue to watch this thing as well. I do appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.